started doing YouTube videos about architecture at the start of my third year in architecture school. I was so excited to document the journey throughout the year because I felt like we do really interesting things, and the studio culture is such an interesting place to be. Like working with friends in the same space, in such a creative environment, models being smashed up and us getting into mischief. But though we didn't have our design studios this year to work in, not all of that was lost though. So I made 3 videos regarding my primer project, a concept by a well-renowned architect, Peter Zumthor, where he mentioned along the lines that architecture students should learn from their childhood and memories. They teach us how we react and enjoy certain spaces. Then I designed a model that is based in the project site that I'm going to be working on, Kama. Kama is located in the Afan Valley in South Wales. It's about an hour's drive away from Cardiff, the capital city of Wales. Kama used to be a simple farming and agricultural community in 1700s before coal mining took over in the 1800s. But when that was over, the railway station closed down and it became more inaccessible up until now. Directly behind me, we just hiked up a hill west of Kama. Just did some scouring around, went to the riverbank earlier. It wasn't really safe for me to film and go down a steep gradient. Sort of made a mess. It was really muddy and I just fell. One thing about site visits is that sometimes you just have to step out of that analysis mindset. You just have to experience the place, just walk around. First I was thinking I wish I took more notes. I wish I was more detailed in my analysis of the place. But sometimes you just have to tap into your humanity. Just step out of that. I'm here as an architect, I'm here as an architecture student to analyze the place. You just want to walk in a town and really understand who the people are, what's their life like, how do I actually feel being here. It's quite sad that it's a bit neglected. This town is quite inaccessible. There's no more railway that comes in. There's not even a Tesco in town, which is fine, I guess. It is an opportunity to think about maybe farmers market, what's the food produce scene in this area, and yeah, just hiking trails. Now with the pandemic, everyone's sick of being home. Imagine if you lived here and you have to work from home. I don't mind. When I'm stressed and I just need to get out, this is it, and it feels good. I'll take you through a bit more of my analysis when I get back. But right now, I want to experience the site for what it is, and I'll see you back in the studio. Residents are to travel miles away to get their groceries and send their children to school. Many feel like they've been forgotten, as mentioned in interviews recorded on voice.wales. There's this lady who was interviewed there. She uses the library for community programs such as painting, and that helped manage her mental health. But with the lack of funding, she was afraid that the library might close down. Then came my immediate site that I was supposed to design in. Some part of me regretted choosing this site. It was on a steep gradient and it had dense vegetation. How in the world am I going to design there? I mean, I chose that site because it made sense. The site is literally called the Confluence. It's where 2 rivers meet, and it's also sort of a gateway to the site. And if I wanted to design a building that may benefit the town and neighboring communities, this is it. This is a sketch I drew of something I came across during my site visit. It was a guy in his mid-50s. He came out of his tiny wood shop that was lit with warm ambient light in the wet and rainy summer weather. It was his garage that was his workshop, and he just came out for a cigarette while his buddy was working inside. From that and reading the interview on Voice.Wales about the painter, and from all the graffiti I've been seeing, it just made sense to me that what I designed had to be a platform for creative expression. So I thought, this place already lacked funding and I had to be resourceful. So this is my friend Ben. He's a silvicultural surveyor in Khmer. He basically works in the forest around the area, and he pointed out that there's been forest fires on the hills and burnt logs just left there in piles. That looks like raw material to me. Imagine charred timber facade with gaps in between, and in the day, the shadow casted indoors would be strips of sunlight, and at night, the building would glow from inside out as the ambient lights peeked through the gaps of the log facade. And that's exactly what I did.